Hello everyone and welcome back to Slinky Boy Games, the channel where we get every achievement in every video game. Today we'll be going over the latest co-op game from Hazelight Studios, Split Fiction. This was an incredibly fun game to play, exploring the minds and stories of two young authors just trying to get published amidst all the AI bullshit, and ending up on an absolutely wild journey together.
So, to platinum this one, I bribed my good friend Mare with the false promise of pizza, and together we excitedly jumped into the simulation to begin our adventure of getting every single achievement in Split Fiction. Major spoilers ahead. We begin the game by meeting our two protagonists, Mio and Zoe, as they arrive at Raider Publishing to take part in some sort of publishing deal/science experiment. Now, I'm not really sure what's going on or how that's supposed to work, and neither is Mio, who tries to nope out but ends up getting thrown into Zoe's bubble. Once in the simulation, we quickly get ourselves pulled through some sort of glitch, exiting the story Zoe had submitted and getting thrown into the middle of Mio's. We agree to hunt down the glitch so we can maybe, hopefully, find a way out of here.
Are you sure? No!
And we take off through the new sci-fi setting. After some quick parkour sections, we do manage to hijack a ship for ourselves, and then promptly crash it right in front of the glitch. The ship explodes, sending us through and back into Zoe's story. But we quickly find out it's a completely different one from before, not the one she submitted. We go through another parkour section, this time avoiding trolls instead of gunfire, before once again finding the glitch. This time, however, it sends us to a weird in-between place, where we can hear what's happening back in the real world. It's here that we learn that Raider is using the experiment and his machine to steal all our ideas. So we make a hesitant truce and agree to keep glitch hunting in the hopes of shutting it all down. Back in the simulation, we enter another of Mio's stories, Neon Revenge, in which we become cyber ninjas on the hunt for, you guessed it, revenge.
Revenge? Well, that sounds dangerous.
After progressing through the story a bit, we come across our first side story of the game, Legend of the Sandfish, where we traverse the sands of time on the backs of giant sharks.
You'll want to keep an eye out for any more of these side stories, as you'll have to find and complete all 12 in order to save them from being stolen by the machine, and to earn another achievement. They're usually off the path a little, requiring some exploration, but luckily whenever there's one nearby, you'll start to see props that don't belong in the current story, and Zoe or Mio will usually comment on it, making them pretty hard to miss.
Once we're back in Cyberpunk City, we can get our first two achievements of the game. Are We the Baddies, for using these balls to destroy this bridge, and then Rose's best friend, for using Zoe's whip to take a few of the limbs off this elephant sign. Continuing on, we take on our first boss fight before finding our next side story, Farm Life. In this story, we can use Mio Pig's rainbow fart power to get two more achievements. Going whole hog for ramming into this giant pig's belly, and Huffin' and Puffin' for launching ourselves into this house. Once we finish the side story and are back in Neon Revenge, we continue to make our way through the city with another boss fight and chase sequence that leads us to the first of 6 benches we'll need to sit at together for another achievement later on.
Unlike the side stories, Mio and Zoe won't comment on the presence of a bench, but they are usually all along the main path of the game, making them also fairly hard to miss.
A little ways after that, we also find yet another side story, Mountain Hike. On the other side of it, we head into this hotel where we can hit this robot concierge a few times to earn the achievement Robot Revolution. Then, after some cool gravity parkour, we arrive at a motorcycle shop where we hotwire a bike and take off into another chase sequence. But during the second half of the chase, a self-destruct countdown is activated on the stolen vehicle.
Major, Mamma Mio! Major!
Here, we can get our last achievement of this story, You Are Not a Robot, by completing the deactivation sequence on the phone before the bike can blow up. Once that's done, we continue the motorcycle section into a boss fight to end the story and get to the glitch. This time, in the in-between place, we get another quick peek at what's going on back at Raider, before going through the next glitch and landing in one of Zoe's stories, Hopes of Spring, where we gain the power to shapeshift into different whimsical creatures to navigate the terrain. Near the beginning of this section, we can get the achievement A Friendly Push by having Monkey Mio push Zoe on this swing in the Underlands. After that, we continue to play through Fantasyland until we come to another side story, Train Heist. And after flying, skiing, and blasting our way through the mission, we come back to the jungle to continue on with the main quest. All goes smoothly for a while until we come to our next side story, Game Show. Here, we have to play through all 6 rounds without letting the bomb explode a single time to get the achievement, Cold Potato. Then, it's back to the main story, where we make our way through the last of the lush greenery and have a dance battle with a monkey who grants us access to the Halls of Ice. In this section, we can throw these 3 snowballs to get the 1 bird 3 stones achievement, as well as find our second of the 6 benches to rest at. We also find our last story within Hopes of Spring, Collapsing Star, and when we get back, we find the evil Ice King,
Pet me or die, human.
and once again end the story with a boss fight before heading off through the glitch. This time, when we come to the in-between place, we hear from Raider himself as he attempts to persuade us to stop hunting down the glitches. But we tell him to get wrecked and hop through the next glitch into Mio's story, Final Dawn. This time, armed with Mega Man suits and laser pistols, we make our way through the level until we come to our next side story, Kites. After a brief flight, we come back to the main story where we do some more puzzle platforming and fight through some robots and a roboss, before we find yet another side story, Moon Market. Here, we can get 2 more achievements. Chair the Load, for using this wand to turn one player into a chair for the other to sit on, and Potion Chef for brewing all the potions listed on this board.
Hello, love. I'm Zoe, and Fi-Fi is the bestest thing ever. Rainbows and sunshine.
Upon returning to the main quest, we can immediately get another trophy, The Cake Is Not a Lie, by reaching this secret area during the run and gun section. Then it's on to another boss fight before we find the next side story, Notebooks. Back in the main story, we fly through the level, taking a short rest at our 3rd bench, before freeing a giant kraken from the toxin facility, representing Mio's dad, who is, spoiler alert, dying of cancer back in the real world, and jet skiing through its path of destruction back to the glitch. When we get back to the in-between place, Raider puts us on a full lockdown as he attempts to heal the glitch, leaving Mio and Zoe tethered together as we complete a parkour section to escape. Eventually reaching the glitch lifts the lockdown, allowing us to continue on to Zoe's next story, Rise of the Dragon Realm, complete with a very elaborate and whimsical magical girl transformation sequence for our resident fantasy nerd.
Really?
In this story, we're given 2 dragon eggs, which we can use to traverse the land. Our exploration gets rudely interrupted by the very angry megalith dragon who chases us, but we manage to escape it just in time for our dragon eggs to hatch into adorable new companions. We make our way downstream to the water temple, where we can get the achievement Feed Me for giving our little buddies a berry from these bushes, before coming upon our next side story, Slopes of War. After some pretty gnarly shredding, we continue through the temple, taking another short breather at our 4th bench. Once we reach the end of the water temple, we put our baby dragons into a pool, and through the powers of fantasy magic and friendship, they come back out much bigger and now rideable. Mounting our dragons, we continue our travels and fight off a boss, before reaching our next side story, Space Escape. Then we do a few more temple puzzles before finally coming to our last side story of the game, Birthday Cake.
Whoa. Okay, I'm officially done being surprised.
And once we defeat the dentist and emerge on the other side, we get the achievement Bookworms for finding, completing, and saving all the side stories. Then we bring our dragons to another pool where they dive in, and we receive some golden swords to fight off the megalith before our dragons emerge, having once again evolved like Pokemon. We take off after the monstrous dragon, and after a long climb across its body, we managed to take it down with the help of our own flying companions, bringing peace to the realm and allowing us to reach the next glitch. Back at Raider Publishing, the higher-ups are attempting to shut down the whole operation, but Raider himself has officially lost it. He cuts off contact and orders his technicians to overload the machine to send us into our subconscious, and before we can even reach the glitch to another story, we get dropped deeper than we ever have before. Landing in Mio's subconscious, we're awakened by a couple of drone balls and are tasked with freeing a mysterious prisoner from a top security vault. Using the drones, we navigate through the prison until we reach the hydration facility. Here, we have the Mio drone go over to this little patch of bubbles to get the achievement, "We're gonna need a bigger boat." Then, once we reach the courtyard, we can have the Zoe drone get into this box to stealth through the enemies. But if we have Mio shoot the box off of her, we get the achievement, "Snake!" Before the drones get dropped into a pinball section that, once completed, ends up releasing the real Mio and Zoe into a boss arena. Bringing down the giant robot brings us to the waste depot, where we can find our 5th bench before being whisked away towards the cell blocks. As we parkour, hack, and fight our way through, we'll eventually come to a spot where Mio can take control of a small robot with a taser pole. Hitting Zoe with the end of it gives us our next achievement, Tased and Confused. Once we're through that section, we come to the maximum security level where one player can lock the other in this giant cell for the achievement Locked Up before we finally reach the prisoner and free her, revealing a giant evil cyborg version of Mio, who of course tries to kill us, but we manage to defeat her before being dropped once again, landing in Zoe's subconscious. This time when we awaken, we're given a pair of spectral animal guides to help us traverse the ruined dreamscape. After we come upon a mosaic gallery of Zoe's memories, we can stop to rest at our 6th and final bench to get the achievement, Sisters, A Tale of Two Besties. Then, we continue going through a ghost town, getting a ride from a 2-headed centipede representing Zoe's parents, and when the parentipede brings us to Zoe's childhood home, we confront a Hydra as well as, spoiler alert, Zoe's guilt over the loss of her twin sister when they were kids. Defeating the monster and restoring its heart gives Zoe a chance to say a final goodbye and throws us back into the in-between place. Unfortunately, our troubles are far from over, as Raider makes one final attempt to stop us by tearing into our simulation, causing the worlds to collide and unravel around us. Our final boss fight is against the godlike Raider as he tries to overwhelm us with enemies from all the stories we visited so far. But after a long fight, we manage to kick him out, break the machine, and finally free ourselves from the simulation. As we walk away from the disaster, we joke about turning our adventure into a book, and when we cut to a few months in the future, we end the game by unveiling our novel Split Fiction and heading to the release party, earning us the final achievement, BFFs, for finishing the game.
And that's how to get every single achievement in Split Fiction. Again, big special thanks to Mare for helping out with this one, and to commenter Beck1701 for the suggestion. If you guys like the video, feel free to hit subscribe for more, or feel free to leave a comment down below telling me what games you want to see in the future. That's it for this video. Until next time, happy gaming.